Hello and welcome to this month's Friends You Keep. As they say, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And at Erin Wellness Support Supplements, we believe that sustainable health and wellness is an accumulation of our 5 pillars, which are the thoughts you think, the friends you keep, nutrition, daily movement, and of course, then supplementation. And so each month we feature women doing exceptional things to hopefully inspire you to step into all that you are destined to be. And today I'm really excited because I have Carolyn Crewe of Duckish here with me. So I'm going to read your bio. Carolyn Crewe is the CEO and co-founder of Duckish Natural Skincare, a concentrated natural bath, body, and baby care brand that does less with more. Based in Halifax, Nova Scotia, so we're on opposite ends of the country right now.
Just right. Yep.
Duckish started as a part-time business, has now grown into a full-time e-commerce brand with products on shelves in over 200 stores, including Whole Foods Ontario and Sobeys stores across Atlantic Canada. This past year, in response to the growth of burnout rates among women, we were just talking about that, yep. Carolyn also introduced the Boombox, a premium wellness subscription box for tired-ass women. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I appreciate this. So I really want to talk. Let's first talk about what Duckish is, and sure. Kind of tell me how it came to be, so everybody can kind of learn a little more.
Sure. So like you graciously mentioned, we like to think of ourselves as doing less with more, or doing more with less. It's Friday, right? Yes. Good. Okay. So what we try to do is basically take your typical bath and body products. So the top two would be like lotion and shampoo, shower care products, and basically remove the water and the fillers and the stuff that doesn't need to be there to give you a concentrated product that is more value for your money. You're not going to have to deal with crazy preservatives because of all the water that's included. And it's just a better eco-friendly product because you have less packaging and less energy to transport all that water all over the place. So our 2 best sellers are these little guys, these little sticks. So this is a lotion in a stick. So you just pull off, the tab is, it's because it's new. Pull it off. Okay, it's just a little twist up stick. You rub it in, goes on really thin, but it does a really fantastic job. And because there's no water, there's about 5 times more concentration there. And it's super travel friendly. So there's these guys. And then one of the new things we have are concentrated shower care products. So shampoo, conditioner, body wash in a solid bar instead of having that giant bottle in your shower.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we do.
And how did it start for you? You're just obviously like skincare.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't super into skincare, to be honest, to begin with. But I always had problematic skin, and I always had little eczema patches that get so itchy, it can make you insane. And just tried every product, went to dermatologists, and all of the products I found were just like, they just didn't do the job. And dermatologists just wanted to give you a hydrocortisone cream, which is not a long-term solution. So I just wanted something that was really, I guess, concentrated. And back then I had a lot more time. So I just started researching like what goes into lotion and like why this ingredient over that ingredient. And then I nerded out even further and just started looking at Health Canada's website to see like what are the guidelines about what can be in a lotion. And then for me, it just kind of snowballed from there. I started testing my own little batches of things and giving it to friends, and then it snowballs because those friends tell other friends, and then they ask you for more. And so yeah, it started out about 7 years ago, and I have an almost 6-year-old. So it was very much part-time in the beginning, and it's just kind of grown from there.
Wow, that's incredible. And so the do less with more. So that basically is basically using less water to create a premium or product, correct?
Correct. Concentrated product, great ingredients.
And so how did you come up with the concept of removing necessary? Is that something other companies are doing? I've never heard of it. So when I was looking,
not really. I'm sure there are other brands that like you can get other shampoo bars and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But just the idea for me, it was that I wanted something that worked.
Yeah.
And I was really, because I nerded out on the ingredient front, when you start reading about preservatives, you kind of learn how there's a lot of uncertainty about long-term effects and those sorts of things. And whenever you introduce water into the equation, you are introducing the possibility of mold, fungus, bacteria, which is why all those products require these heavy duty preservatives. So for me, if you didn't include the water, you automatically eliminated a lot of the harsh preservative options that you would need to have.
Yeah.
So you can lean on antioxidants, for example, and you got to have clean ingredients, and the product just worked a lot better, in my opinion. So for me, that's kind of how it started, was this wormhole of research based on my own kind of weird skin issues.
Yeah.
And just wanting something that worked. So yeah, here we are.
And so, I mean, I'm in a position right now, I still obviously am, I still work for two companies, myself and then somebody else. Now going from that part-time gig to making it a full-time business, that takes a lot of courage. And so when did you finally—
One word for it, insanity. Yeah,
no.
Insanity, yeah.
But when was the point? Like, was there a point where you're kind of like, okay, now is the time, and that's when it happened, or how'd that come?
It was there are a variety of variables. So one, we moved from Montreal to Halifax.
Yeah.
So I was already kind of leaving the stuff I had going on in Montreal to come to Halifax. But I guess the real catalyst was we got too busy. Like it just became something that was all consuming.
Yeah.
So I had to make that choice of like, if I don't do this now, then we lose the momentum.
Yeah.
But that means kind of leaving a little bit of the safety net, a little bit of the security. So for me, I have never been one to take the safer path, it turns out, in retrospect. And I don't like the what ifs.
Yeah.
So I figured like, let's just do it. And if it all blows up, then so be it. There will be other jobs, there will be other money. But what if it works?
I like that. I like that. I need to hear that today.
You're welcome.
Yep.
What if?
What if, right?
Yep.
That was it's funny when I first started my brand all those years ago, and I got packaged up from Jameson. I got my money, and I remember I always wanted to do my brand. I had always thought of formulas and stuff. And I remember when I got the money and I had the opportunity to, all of a sudden I was like, oh no, like what if I do this, and what if it work? And and I remember the night I placed my order, my first order was $30,000. I had to pay them up front. I sat on my bed. I had a complete anxiety attack because I have anxiety, like complete anxiety attack.
It's terrifying.
My neighbor, I lived in a townhouse complex for years. She actually, like, I texted her, I'm like, I need you. And she came over, she got me a cold cloth, and her daughter had anxiety. She's like, okay, rub our hands together. Let's tap her feet. She goes, I want you to and she just brought me right back to present. She goes, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can, the whole thing. Right? And I really had to step into a space of, I am going to trust that I am being led in the direction that I need to be led in. So
it's terrifying.
You just have to kind of go for it, because I think there is that, that idea of being safe and always playing it safe. And at the end, that meme of talking about, I want to have like skid marks on the road and like really just have this adventure story of living your life to the fullest and following your dreams and listening to that good, orderly direction, that GOD, or gut feeling, whatever it is for you, right?
And what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, that's true.
You lose some money.
Yeah.
You lose some time, but you probably will have learned a ton along the way. And there will always be other jobs and other opportunities. That's
so true. That's
I don't know. I would rather put myself in an uncomfortable position and totally bomb, and not kind of wonder about it, than be in a job that's comfortable but I really hate.
I agree with that too. I like that. So any new exciting products coming up on the horizon for you guys?
Well, we just launched the shower care in the past 2 months, something like that. So that's what we're going to right away. We have new scents coming in the next couple of months, which is really excited. Rosemary mint, which I'm really, really excited about. And a cedar citrus, which is kind of like foresty, woodsy. So that's what's going to be coming out in the next month or two, is a few new scents of all of the products.
Bars, I mean, I'm in health food stores every day. They're really, really growing, right? That's becoming a lot more
huge deal
item, right? Where people are looking at ways to not have the plastics, and of course then have better ingredients, right? With all, that's
and you can't see it. My hair is actually like down to my butt. I do this now because it's too much. But like for me, that's the only thing I've used for the past probably year that I've, started doing it. And my hair feels amazing. And I know I'm biased because obviously like we make them, but like I have a ton of hair. It's super thick. And if I can't get my fingers through my hair, which was happening with the shampoo and the conditioner I was using before, it's a nightmare. So like I really genuinely feel like my hair feels a lot better. So it's kind of like a win on all fronts for shampoo bars and that kind of thing in general, in my opinion, whether it's ours or any other brand. As long as your hair is happy, I think you win on every front.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Hair is a big thing.
Yeah.
And I also want to talk about a project that Erin Wellness got an opportunity to be part of as well. So thank you for inviting us to that. But the newest project had the boom box for tired ass women, which with pandemic and, I was looking at some stats even, I think I kind of share these with you, but,
women are crazy,
right? The women are more likely to feel burned out than men for one.
Yes.
And the burnout gender gap has doubled since 2019. So it's interesting because obviously during COVID, you think that, if women had spouses home with them helping, that it would alleviate stress. It's actually gotten worse. So that's what's really like, whoa. But I can see that because not only would we be on Zoom constantly, working, but then you also have to do the education component. Then you're cleaning the house because I mean, stats show we still do 80% of the housework at home, right? No, so when you look at that, it does kind of make sense. But you've created this quarterly subscription box. And you've carefully selected these premium products. So you make it easy for tired ass women to feel good, both inside and out. So can you tell me a little bit about the box? I know you just had the summer one just
shipped for International Women's Day.
That one and kind of what the plans are for the future.
Sure. So the idea originally came from, I am a tired ass woman. And like you said, during the pandemic, you're juggling all of the things you would normally juggle, but there are just these other demands on you. Even though everybody's at home, it's still like really, really taxing. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I feel like garbage. Like, am I the only one that feels like this? And then I kind of like started chatting with people in various like little Facebook groups and WhatsApp chats and whatever, just groups of ladies from various eras of my life. And everybody was like, I'm done. Like, I am pooched. I have never felt this terrible. Like, just everybody was struggling. And just the idea when I asked people was that nobody put themselves on the list. There's too many other things to deal with, right? Everybody else needs to be taken care of. So they never put themselves on the list. Right. So I was like, and it just kind of stuck with me because I was like, oh, I'm totally guilty of that too. You take care of your kids, you want to help out your partner, you got to make meals and like grocery shop and do all of the things. And you're so exhausted after doing all of that. There's just nothing left for you. The idea of doing something else was just too much. So people weren't doing it. So it just stuck with me and it was just rolling around in my brain. And then it kind of hit me of like, okay, there's got to be a way to make it easy for women to put themselves on the to-do list. Everybody has their to-do list, right? So how do you make it easy for them to do it? And the idea of like, you don't have to remember to go buy a fun face masks or these cool supplements or whatever it is. It's there. It just arrives magically on your doorstep and it's there for you. Whenever you have a bad day, whenever you need a little pick me up, whenever you have 15 minutes just to kind of do something just for you. But the idea of you have this care kit that's just there all the time that you can pull from, you don't have to think about it. That is what I decided, like that would be the dream for me. That it's there. I have that crappy day. I have 15 minutes. I'm going to like put on a sheet mask and drink a glass of wine and put my feet up. Whatever, right? So that's kind of how it started out. And then I started testing out taglines with women. And the one that just kept coming back was tired ass women. Like, I'm a tired ass woman was the one that everybody identified with. And I was like, okay, I feel like this really captures, because it's not about age.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Right. It's not about age. It's just like how you feel. And if you feel like a tired ass woman, then I wanted to give you this box of stuff that would bring you a little bit of joy and make it easy for you to take care of yourself whenever you have those few minutes to do so. So the second box just went out for International Women's Day. And we had Skin Fix, which is actually from Halifax. So they're a huge brand. So that was fun. We had a brand called Dwarf Stars, which do a vegan pumpkin seed buttercup. So think of like a Reese's Pieces, but it's vegan.
I don't know if
and
I
nut free. Yeah, and they're freaking delicious. We have another brand out west called Velvet, and they have this cool exfoliation mitt that you can use with the body wash. We put in some Duckish body balm sticks because they're great for just having in your purse. Now that people are kind of like starting to leave their houses and travel again, they're great for that. We put in, so there's always an aspect of like sanity preservation or like nourishing your soul, however you want to, look at it. But the one thing, so last time we did a journal, a doodle journal, which is super cute and lovely. But this time we put in, it's a greeting card that just says thinking of you. But it's a seed card. So the idea is like you write a little note. We haven't seen each other in a while. I just send you the card. I don't even have to write anything in it other than like, love Carolyn, but you get the warm fuzzies from receiving it. And then you can plant the card and it grows into a bouquet of flowers and plants.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that.
So it's kind of like this real kind of like warm and fuzzy sort of thing. And I think right now where people are just lacking connection. So that was kind of the warm fuzzy feeling item in this box. And I'm missing a couple other things. Golden Slumbers tea from Tea's Tea. They're based in Ottawa, by Sheena, who's a rock star. If you haven't come across her, I think you would like her a lot. And I think that might be it in this box.
And then you
had other way
there too, right? So
what's that?
What Duckish products were in there? Obviously you had Duckish.
So we have a little one and we put in a big one as well.
Nice.
Because the idea is that, and we try to cater to the season because it comes out seasonally. So the idea that it's still kind of cold and gross, like it's just starting to get warm. So everybody's skin is still kind of not the best. And everybody's still washing their hands and using hand sanitizer obsessively. So that's why the mini ones are just really handy for your hands. And just the idea of like, if you're starting to travel and you want to go away for the weekend and you put the big stick in your bag, it's not a liquid. So you don't even have to worry about like whether or not you need to check your luggage. So those are the kinds of things we wanted to put in to just make sure it fit where people are in their lives.
I never thought about that with traveling. I mean, with the shampoo bars and conditioners, we're going to England in the end of June to July. So now I'm going to bring shampoo bars, and
you should.
I'm going to bring your stuff because that makes more sense.
Because all of the things, like it's all solid, right? So you don't have to check it in your luggage.
Wow, that's a great marketing right there.
I know. Well, we used to sell it at a bunch of airport stores.
I can imagine.
Before the pandemic, and then obviously like travel was decimated. So I'm trying to sneak my way back in there right now. But yeah, that's the idea, is just to give women a way to put themselves on the to-do list and give them really nice stuff that fits what's going on in their lives at that time. So the summer box is going to have stuff that's, catered toward, having a good time in the summer. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do. And the other thing that we've actually introduced with this box is the idea of the one-time box. So you can get the subscription, cool, wonderful, lovely, but you can also get it as a gift. So just a one-time box, which has been really, really popular because there's a lot of women out there who, it's funny, when you're a tired ass woman and you don't put yourself on the to-do list, sometimes it's really hard for you to be like, I'm going to do this thing for me. Right. But what we've seen is that a lot of women will buy it for other women because they can include a little gift note, right? And the gift note, it's like, you're killing it, mama, keep up the good work. It's like these really nice things that one friend is giving to another to help them feel good, which I think is just wonderful.
That's really great. I love that.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. And I really appreciate you letting me be a part of it. So I look forward to
thank you.
being a part of it again in the future.
I will take you up on that offer.
Oh.
Absolutely.
So we're going to kind of wrap it up. So I've got 3 questions to ask you.
Sure.
As a Canadian woman in business, we were talking before we got on here, we're talking a little bit we were venting on some business stuff, but as a Canadian woman in business, what is the one thing you wish you would have known when you started or before you started? I mean, there's lots. I know.
I mean, there's lots.
Yeah.
There's lots. So I guess I have 2 things that came to mind. One, it's going to take a lot longer and be more expensive than you want it to be. That's like just how it is. But the other thing I would say is to kind of like enjoy the ride, and not necessarily only think about the destination of like, you kind of feel crappy if you didn't make that sale or you didn't get into this or whatever, but there are so many other cool things that happen along the way, whether or not things turn out how you want them to turn out or not, that those are like, you've learned something, you met some really great people, like just to kind of like soak up that smaller, those smaller interactions and those smaller little wins, if you want to call them that, along the way, instead of just being laser focused on the end game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was watching Gary Vaynerchuk talking about that. And he said, you know, if you're doing something just to make money, he goes, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. He goes, because really the joy of creating stuff. And I've had these moments too, where I've been, because entrepreneurship is really like, you know, whether you're like, yay, everything's going good, and the labels are all printed wrong. And so, oh my God, you have to do something. Oh my God, this happened. This is so great. And then, oh my God, this something else happened. So it's a continuous thing. And what I've realized is that I know when I look back, you know, in 10 years from now, I look back, I'm going to realize the fun stuff was in this day-to-day, like hustle and getting up in the morning, being excited to, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, you know? And so it's being able to really kind of enjoy that a little bit more too, and realizing that these uncomfortable little things that are happening are actually real gems that you're going to look back and be like, wow, what a story. Right.
Totally. And I mean, when I think back on it, I've learned an insane amount of things about running a business. And I feel like each little nugget is, like you say, a gem. It's a gift that you don't know how it's, because you learned that weird little lesson or you met that one person and you didn't really think about it at the time, but like that could be something that saves your butt later on, or that's the person that you go to later on with, and they have this amazing opportunity for you. But to kind of just like slow down a little bit and enjoy those little small interactions instead of just that laser focus on getting to the end game. Because if like there are so many crappy days, so like really to be able to stop and enjoy those smaller things, that's what I would tell myself.
That's what like sometimes
I go back in time.
Like I like with memories of Facebook sometimes, you know, because you can see all the stuff and you're like, oh man, I did that and I did this, and all these little steps along the way have led the business to where it is today.
Absolutely.
You know? And a lot of the time, I think as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you can forget that stuff because you're so focused on here.
Yeah, you're on to the next thing.
Right. It is so challenging just to step back and be a little present. So I'm going to try to do that more so today. That's my thing takeaway today too.
Same. Yeah.
So what is the one thing you would tell your 20-year-old self?
I guess it's kind of in line with the previous answer. Done a lot of random weird things. Like in hindsight, I've realized that I don't take the path that many people would often take. And it's a wild ride, and it's probably still will be, hopefully. So just the idea of enjoying the journey and not being so focused on, you know, like not being so worried about where I'm going to end up or how it's going to turn out, and just kind of chill out and enjoy how it unfolds. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, just that opportunities present themselves at times when, you know, it's a moment where you should take advantage of that opportunity, right? So just not to be so hung up on how it's all going to shake out, and just enjoy the ride a little bit more. And things will unfold as they need to unfold, and not trying to like force a thing that isn't meant to be.
Yeah. It's like a relationship, really.
It is totally like a relationship.
Everything, right?
Right. You work at it, you try, you do your best with what you have in that situation, but sometimes things don't work out. And, you know, in my case, there's always a random opportunity that you would never think of that seems to manifest
It shows
at
up.
the same time. And it's, I don't know, I think that things kind of not happen for a reason, but like, just, take it easy, enjoy the ride, and it's all going to be good.
I agree with that. I like that.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what inspires you to be your best self? What do you find inspires you day to day? Is it the business? Is it, I mean, obviously you have a child, so what do you think inspires you?
I would say two things: having a kid, and like they will, because I think about like, what I think of my parents,
Yeah.
and how when you grow up, growing up when you're a kid, you look at your parents in a certain way, and then as you get older, you realize, certain things. So I like the idea of my little boy growing up, and once he's old enough to kind of realize and understand, be like, wow, my mom was kicking ass. Like, I think that's pretty cool. But I think the other thing that I like challenges. I like learning new stuff, even though it's really uncomfortable and I complain about it when it's happening. But that is the thing that I find the most exciting. If every day is going to be the same, I'm not super interested in it. So that's the kind of thing that I find really motivating. Is I am in a situation where I have no idea how to fix this or how to get from A to B, which sucks, but at the same time, that's exciting, that's interesting, because you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I would say, like, I feel like I'm like shrinking myself. Those are the things that I would say, like, yeah, get me out of bed in the morning and keep going with this kind of life. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I remember years ago, Michaela, because I can definitely resonate with, the excitement and doing something challenging. And obviously having a daughter motivates me. But I remember years ago, she came home from school and they were working on sentence fragments. And I still have it, the paper, but it says, my mom works hard for us. So having those, when she can see from a young age, she would have been 5 or 6 at the time, but from her age, or 7, but to identify that my mom works really hard, right? And that she's doing stuff.
Huge.
And that's really important to me. I watched my mom work really hard as well. Like, she went back to school at 40, she got her degree, she went for it. And so in that, I have such an admiration for her for stepping out of the box and following her dreams, right? And so I think that's, obviously you're going to inspire your son with what you're doing. And so I think that is definitely something that kind of can get you out of bed in the morning. For sure.
Hopefully. Yeah. But I think it's a nice thing.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to thank you, Caroline, for being on here today. And before we finish up, I want everybody to know, okay, where can they go buy Duckish products and where do they follow you? And then also the boombox, where can they buy those and where can they follow that?
Awesome. Okay, so we'll start with Duckish. So you can find Duckish at duckish.ca. So duckish.ca. We're on Instagram as well at Duckish Natural Skincare. Boombox is also available on the Duckish website. You'll see it links all over the place. If you just search your boombox, you will find it. And you can find it on Instagram as well, at your boombox. And the other place, depends on where you live. On the other places you can find Duckish on Amazon, both in Canada and the US. And if you live on the East Coast of Canada, you can find many Duckish products available at Sobeys.
Nice. Well, I will be linking it down below so everybody can follow your website from there too. And we'll be obviously tagging you in all the Instagram and stuff that we do. So I want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story and having a great conversation with you. And then also everybody else who's been here and who's listened, thank you so much. And stay tuned for more inspiring women talking about what they're doing in life.
Thanks so much, Erin.
Thank you.
So fun.